Today we're going to look at the Huberman Lab podcast, episode 10, Master Stress, Tools for Managing Stress and Anxiety. The key ideas discussed in this episode are: Number 1, what is stress? Number 2, stressors versus stress. Number 3, how to reduce or eliminate stress. Number 4, nasal versus mouth breathing. Number 5, short-term stress. Number 6, medium-term stress. Number 7, long-term stress. And finally, number 8, supplements to help manage stress. Idea number 1. What is stress? The heart of stress lies at whether our internal experience and external experience align. All species experience stress. Stress is a generic system used to mobilize other systems in the brain and body to respond. Systems for stress are genetically encoded, which means we have the power to control them. Idea number 2. Stressors versus stress. Stressors can be psychological or physical. Some examples are difficulty balancing work and social life, or being out in the cold without a jacket. Basically, they are things which stress us out. Stress is the psychological and physiological response to stressors. The stress system doesn't distinguish between physiological and psychological stressors. The neurons that control stress run from the neck to navel. A chain of neurons becomes activated in response to stressors and release acetylcholine, which is otherwise used to move muscles. Neurons release epinephrine, which either activates things that need to respond to stressor and activate receptors on things we don't need to calm them. There are 3 types of stress responses. Number 1 is generic. Number 2 pushes what we need, turns off what we don't need. And number 3 stimulates the body to move to action or say something. Idea number 3. How to reduce or eliminate stress. The best real-time tools to reduce stress will impact the autonomic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system has certain layers we can use to push back on the nervous system. It's hard to control the mind using the mind. If we're stressed or tired, it's difficult to channel gratitude, peace, and other important mind mechanisms. By using the body instead of the brain, we'll be able to free the mind to speak more clearly, control muscles of face and jaw, and generally relax. In stress or high alertness, we want to leverage the fact that we can control our diaphragm and breathing. When you inhale, the diaphragm moves down and heart gets larger, so blood moves slower. This sends a signal to the brain to speed up the heart rate. To increase heart rate, inhale longer and or more vigorous than exhale. When you exhale, the diaphragm moves up, the heart gets smaller and more compact, so blood moves more quickly. This sends a signal to the brain to slow down the heart rate. To slow down heart rate, exhale longer and or more vigorous than inhale. The fastest method to calm down in real time is the psychological sigh. Note, this is not breath work. There's a real relationship between brain, body, diaphragm, and heart. Physiological sigh. 2 inhales through the nose followed by an extended exhale through the mouth. What doesn't work? Telling yourself or others to calm down. Idea number 4. Nasal versus mouth breathing. Nasal breathing is more advantageous than mouth breathing in many cases. For physiological sigh, it's most ideal to inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. But if that's not feasible, it's okay through the mouth. Some recommended books on breathing are Breath by James Nestor, and you can also check out the yogic versions of breathwork, sometimes known as pranayama. Idea number 5. Short-term stress. Acute stress is good for the immune system. Signs of short-term stress are dilation of pupils, changes in optics of eyes, increase in heart rate, sharpening of cognition, narrow but sharp focus to respond at the moment. Stress often comes in the form of bacterial or viral infection, so the body's response is to release epinephrine or adrenaline to combat infection. When adrenaline is released in the body, it liberates killer cells from immune organs to combat and suppress incoming infection. Note about Tummo or Wim Hof style breathing. This is basically rapid deliberate hyperventilation. This will make you feel alert and liberate adrenaline. Procrastination is how we turn on short-term stress and cue our body to work. If you are no longer able to sleep, you are leaving good short-term stress and entering harmful long-term stress. Idea number 6. Medium-term stress. Medium stress lasts anywhere from several days to several weeks. A lot of managing stress is about raising capacity. The goal of managing stress is to be calm of mind when the body is activated. Stress threshold is the ability to cognitively regulate what is happening in mind and body. Method to manage medium-term stress. Place yourself deliberately in a situation of stress, such as sprints, cold shower, fast bike, etc., and make your mind comfortable with the response. Relax the mind while the body is active, so what once felt like a lot becomes manageable. Use the body to bring up the level of activation, then disassociate with the physical response. You will become more comfortable at higher activation states. Idea number 7. Long-term stress. Stress has its benefits, but long-term stress is bad. Chronic stress leads to heart disease because of the way adrenaline impacts blood vessels. Things we know to mitigate long-term stress: regular exercise, enough sleep, and social connection. Social connection mitigates long-term stress by leveraging serotonin, which has positive effects on the immune system and connections in the brain. Social connection can be to other people, whether romantic, platonic, and pets, and even just attachment to things we take joy in seeing or participating in. The body secretes higher levels of tachykinin when we are not socially connected enough. Tachykinin symptoms increase irritability, paranoia, fear, and loneliness. Idea number 9. Supplements to help manage stress. Not recommended to supplement with melatonin, since over-the-counter doses are much higher than produced in the body. Melatonin can suppress puberty response in species and reduce output of adrenals. L-theanine for chronic stress can take 100 to 200 milligrams before sleep to blunt response to stress and encourage stress management and reduced anxiety. Ashwagandha reduces cortisol associated with short and medium-term stress. Ashwagandha also lowers cholesterol and has mild effects in reducing depression. Final summary and key takeaways. Stress is a generic system the body uses to turn on what it needs, turn off what it doesn't, and stimulate the body or mouth to move to action. We can't control the external world, but can and should do our best to control how we respond to things. We can't use the mind to control the mind. We need tools. The goal of all stress management is to remain calm of mind when the body is activated. The physiological sigh is the best real-time tool to calm down. 2 inhales through the nose, followed by an extended exhale through the mouth. Managing medium-term stress is best done by increasing your stress threshold through short, difficult bursts to become more comfortable at higher levels of activation. Try spins, cold shower, bike intervals, etc. Social connections. Example: significant other, platonic, pet, joy of participating in or watching event mitigates long-term stress by releasing serotonin and suppressing tachykinin. This is the end. Thank you.